Well, hello. There was a conversation I was having with the staff earlier this week about the message, about the application. One of the things that I really didn't touch base on this past week, so this is a Beyond the Notes video, something that really stuck out to me toward the end of the message was some of the, how God has set up for us in the midst of our chaos, a way for help, a way to persevere, and all these different kinds of things, how we can respond to the chaos at hand. Because there's a part of this that was very, very accurate, where we can choose whether or not we're going to give things over to God, or if we're going to try and isolate ourselves from the situation. And so what I did this past Sunday is I told a story, and it's a true story, about, I need to make sure we clarify that, about how in 2013 our house was broken into, and how we were going through really just a chaotic and traumatic time, and how we really felt violated, and we were being stripped from, our dignity was being stripped from us. And how we really had three different options on how to respond to this. And the first one was to either bury it deep down inside and do nothing about, act like nothing ever happened, which that's very unhealthy. The second one is to move in one of two directions, either against everyone else and start shifting blame on them for what happened, saying, you know, we could have done things to prevent this, or to take all that blame and move it onto ourselves and say, just overload ourselves with guilt about how really it's our fault and we should have done better, and the family wouldn't have had to go through this had I been thinking, or had I been there, or something like that. The third option was to turn to Jesus. And that's what my wife and I decided to do, is we decided through that we would turn to Jesus. And here's what we noticed, is that in the midst of that chaotic time in our life, that we had actively set ourselves up to turn to Jesus. And here's what I mean by that. We were involved in a church. We had a church family. We had each other who were seeking God at the same time. And Jesus is identified now, his body is identified in the church. And so it's not just about you and prayer to get through chaos. It's about you turning in the direction of what he has set up as the place where you can find more of him. So, for example, some of the benefits that we had of being able to do this, we had someone invite us over to stay with them, because staying in our own home after an incident like this was absolutely crazy. I mean, felt real crazy to do. So they had us over and they said, you stay at our house. The lead pastor gave us a call and said, hey, I just want to check in and see how you guys are doing. Is there anything that you guys need? And then we had a whole bunch of people in the church praying for us on a regular basis. I told you about my friend Paul who counseled me on how I can work through the chaotic moment in my life. And see, I want to stress that a little bit more, because the chaos that we face is not meant to be faced in isolation. It is not meant to be faced alone. So what we have a tendency to do, I think, sometimes when things get really, really difficult, is to seclude ourselves from others. And when really it's a time to press in. It's really a time to press in. And so I just want to take that moment to go a little bit further and to say that, you know, in that chaotic time, which could be happening right now through the holidays, I don't know, or something that you've gone through before, now is the time to engage with the church. Not just you and God, but you and the body of Christ, because that is what he has set up to help us get through times like this. Someone else has gone through what you're going through, and you are not alone. And that's what we celebrate at this time of year, at Christmas time, a God who came to be with us, and then he set up a kingdom that is constantly with us and available all the time, and that's his church. So I want to encourage you, challenge you, If you feel like you're going through some chaos right now, to get a hold of the church, to get a hold of those and just talk with those who are in the church. Come and talk with us, with the pastors here, with Mark or Ryan or myself. Send us an email, give us a phone call. If you know somebody who is part of the church that you can confide in, I would encourage you to reach out. There is no reason to go through things by yourself.